Ricciardo's future is very uncertain. He spoke about being on the grid in 2023, saying that this is, as things stand up to this point, an impossible scenario for him. There is one seat available at Haas, and given the fact that Magnussen has been able to finish in the points on multiple occasions this season, similar to Ricardo, that wouldn't be a bad move for the Aussie. Yet, he said that he doesn't want to race anywhere, and there have been talks about his reserve role shifting from Mercedes to Red Bull. This is something that Ricardo himself addressed as he gave further insights on what his future holds. So, what will Ricardo do in 2023? Is there a chance that he will drive for Red Bull in the near future? And what do other team bosses like Steiner have to say about Ricardo driving for them in 2023? Let's find out. Ricardo's most successful years were with Red Bull. He debuted with the Austrian team in 2014, replacing Mark Webber and pairing up with Sebastian Vettel for one season. In the 2015 season, Kvyat was his teammate, and in 2016, from the Barcelona GP onwards, Ricardo's partner was Verstappen. This was the breaking point in Ricardo's career, as he wasn't able to live up to the public's expectations or with Verstappen's generational talent. So he decided to leave the Austrian team in 2019, reportedly after not having enough trust in the Honda engine that Red Bull took from 2019 onwards. The Aussie went to Renault, and the 2020 season was a decent one for him. He finished P5 in the Drivers' Championship with 2 podium finishes, for which Renault had to wait so long. But in 2021, when he decided to fill in for Carlos Sainz's vacant seat in McLaren, everybody was surprised as to why this move was completed in the first place. Now that he was delivering decent results for the French team, many believed he would opt to stay in Renault and continue in the further development of the car. After 2 miserable seasons in McLaren, in which he won 1 race last year at Monza, Ricardo's tenure in F1 may be over. Although his most realistic approach for the next season is that he'll sit it out and spend some time in his homeland or sign on for a reserve driver role, many fans are praying that he chooses to drive and picks up the vacant Haas seat. Still, after hinting out multiple times that this isn't the right thing for him, Ricardo was related to a Red Bull seat yet again. Wolff's statement on Hamilton's future were perfectly clear. The Briton is here to stay. The situation isn't that different in Red Bull either, with them having 2 perfectly capable young guns in AlphaTauri waiting to replace Perez if the opportunity is presented to them. However, they lack Ricardo's Red Bull experience as well as the success that the Australian has had with the Austrian team. That is one of the things that maybe, just maybe, Red Bull will consider when it comes to signing Ricardo as their reserve driver. But is this a real possibility, or are the fans just holding on to the last straws? During the Austin press conference, Ricardo was asked about whether he had an agreement to become Red Bull's reserve driver from 2023 onwards, to which he replied, I don't. For now, everything is just rumors. Am I talking? Yes, but there's no pen on paper or anything like that. I still have ambitions for 2024, so I won't completely disconnect from the sport. But obviously, nothing's guaranteed for 2024. Like, I don't have a seat that I can say I'm definitely going to be driving, but I'll still be around and trying to put work in to be back. What Ricardo doesn't seem to understand or accept is the fact that there are so many drivers that have better potential than him and aren't driving as we speak due to the fact that every seat is filled. Williams have announced Logan Sargent as their starting driver from 2023 onwards, if the American succeeds in staying in the top 6 in the F2 Championship and becomes eligible for a super license. This means 1 seat less for Ricardo, who currently has the option of driving in Haas in 2023. Although this team doesn't seem very attractive to the Aussie, Steiner, the team's principal, spoke during the Austin press conference about the opportunity to have Ricardo in his team from 2023 onwards, saying, if he is interested in us, he's not shy to call me up. I am not going to chase him down. I want him to decide what he wants to do for himself first, before being talked into something. I think he is a good driver, and I don't know how he got in the situation he's in now, but I think he needs to come clean with himself and decide what he's going to do. On top of that, Steiner said that he has no idea why the Aussie doesn't want to race for Haas, adding, I think you need to ask Danny that one, not me, about why he doesn't want to race. I don't know if it's something against Haas or just he decides to do something different for a year. I cannot guess what he wants to do. I have no idea what to answer you. Mick Schumacher's performance hasn't been satisfying as of now, and given the fact that his teammate won points in Austin while Mick finished outside of the points column, his seat is now very much in jeopardy. This is something that drivers like Hülkenberg and Giovinazzi are preying on, and in the F1 sport, we all know that the rule of the strong eat the weak prevails. This is one of the reasons Ricardo cannot afford to miss an entire season and then hope to return in the same form in 2024. Let's take a short trip to history and see some of the drivers that took a sabbatical and then returned to the sport. Alonso, Schumacher, and Raikkonen all took some time off before returning to the sport. But comparing world champions to 8-time race winner would be truly disrespectful to the legacy these F1 champions built. No disrespect to Ricardo, but with how he drove the McLaren in 2021 and 2022, he is far away from being compared with these champions. Magnussen is a driver that is way below Ricardo's rank when it comes to race wins and podiums, but still managed to make a return in F1. However, the circumstances here were very different. For starters, he got fired from the team along with Grosjean due to the fact that Haas decided to go with a young duo of rookies, Mazepin and Schumacher. With the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Mazepin was sacked from the team and his father's money was also thrown away. So the team needed to find a quick solution for the vacant seat. Of course, who would know how to drive the Haas better than a guy that did it successfully for quite some time? So the timing was right for Magnussen, something that Ricardo doesn't really have on his side if he wants to complete a comeback in 2024. But at least every F1 fan knows that Ricardo's focus and goal is to remain in F1 in the future, all the way to his retirement, which is something that he has hinted at multiple times when the buyout terms with McLaren came to light. This weekend in Austin, Ricardo spoke about potentially joining the IndyCar 500 after former F1 driver Roman Grosjean said that the Aussie is made for IndyCar. F that. Ovals scare me. My Formula 1 career/ambition is not over, so that's really like first and foremost. I don't want to deviate. I would say primarily for that reason. But also, ovals. Nah. 10 years ago, I would have said yes. I'm okay to admit that I'm not okay with ovals. So, what comes next for the Australian? It goes without saying that his future is very much jeopardized, and when the buyout terms with McLaren came to light, everybody thought that he would be easily taken by another team. Nonetheless, the 2 years with the working-based team took their toll on Ricardo, and it's clear that they were more than just a blip on his career. Ricardo's reputation has been ruined by him constantly being out of Q1, not finishing in the points, and being absolutely outperformed by his teammate. This is one of the main reasons why Ricardo, according to F1 experts and ex-champions like Jacques Villeneuve, shouldn't consider the sabbatical as an option and should take whatever is thrown at him for the 2023 season. Still, the future is in his own hands, and whatever he decides to do with it, we must sit back and respect it. Although every F1 fan is hopeful that Ricardo will make a return to the sport, whether that is as a reserve driver for Red Bull or a starting driver for Haas, it's very unlikely that the Aussie will consider the latter option and will likely settle for the former. What do you think about Ricardo's future?